Ever feel like, your degree was going to be this magic ticket to amazing job offers?
Yeah.
Like it was going to unlock all these doors.
Right, yeah.
I was totally there too. I thought I had it all figured out.
Mm.
Got my communications degree, walked into my first real job interview like I owned the place.
Yeah, yeah.
And the hiring manager just casually asks, "Can you edit videos?
Uh-oh.
What about like Facebook ads?"
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, all those hours spent on intro to media studies
Right.
felt a little, well, useless.
Like, it's funny, right? It's like we're all sold this fairy tale, get the degree, and bam, dream job appears. But the real world, it's a different beast.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And I hear this from so many people, not just people fresh out of school either. People with tons of experience, even advanced degrees, are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
My awesome qualifications aren't magically getting me job offers.
And it's because there's a real disconnect, right, between what we're taught and what employers actually need.
Huge disconnect.
The education system gets so stuck on theory, on these big picture ideas.
Yeah.
But companies, they need people who can solve problems, like today. Not just people who can, like, quote textbooks.
It's like you can read all about cooking, right? You can be a total expert on the history of cuisine.
Yeah.
But can you actually, like, handle the heat of the kitchen?
Exactly. It's not enough to know stuff. You have to be able to do stuff. And that's a big part of why we see this degree inflation thing happening.
Degree inflation.
Yeah, like think about it. You've got this wave of graduates, all with the same degrees, all fighting for a handful of jobs that even want those degrees.
Right.
Basic economics, right. Supply and demand. Too much supply, not enough demand. Things get messy.
Which explains why you see people with sociology degrees working retail.
Exactly. It's Econ 101 playing out in the real world. And it's not just about the number of degrees either. There's also what we call a skills mismatch. Employers want a combo of hard skills, like the technical stuff, coding or data analysis.
Makes sense.
And soft skills, like being able to communicate well or work on a team. And a lot of programs just don't focus on that stuff enough.
Hold on. Isn't that kind of like a catch-22? If schools aren't teaching these in-demand skills, how are people supposed to learn them?
That's the million-dollar question. And the answer is we have to be proactive. We can't wait for someone to hand us these skills.
So you're saying it's not enough to just ace your classes and graduate with honors.
Yep.
We got to be thinking beyond the classroom.
Absolutely. We need to build our resumes outside of school. Real-world experience, that's the key. Internships, freelance work, even just personal projects that show you can apply your knowledge, make stuff happen.
So it's not just what you know, it's what you can do with it. It's about having proof.
You got it. Think of it this way. There's no Hogwarts degree for a guaranteed amazing career. The job market, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
What's hot today might be totally useless tomorrow.
So even if you, pick the right major, there's no guarantee. You need more than just the degree.
Yep. You got to prove you can deliver.
But how do you do that when you're just starting out?
That's where things get interesting. It's about owning your career path, finding ways to connect what you learned in school with what the real world actually wants. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next.
Okay, I am all ears because I think a lot of our listeners are probably leaning in right now, waiting for these actionable solutions.
Let's do it. All right, so we've kind of laid out the problem, right?
Yeah.
Now let's give you some tools to tackle it.
Okay.
First up, practical experience.
Okay.
And I don't just mean like the typical internship,
Yeah?
Think outside the box.
You mean like all those side hustle stories you see online?
Yes, exactly.
Like turning a hobby into a business or like doing freelance stuff.
All of that. Freelancing, volunteering for something you care about, starting your own passion project.
Right.
All fantastic ways to get real-world experience and build up a portfolio that really shows what you can do.
So it's about showing initiative, right?
Yep.
Not waiting for someone to hand you an opportunity.
Exactly. Create your own. Think about the skills you want and then find a way to use them. For example, if you're into marketing, offer to run social media for a local business or help a nonprofit with their fundraising.
So you're not just building your resume, you're building proof.
Right.
Tangible evidence of what you can do.
Now, along with experience, you need to be developing marketable skills, do your research. What are employers looking for in your field?
So for someone who's, say, interested in tech, that might mean learning programming languages like Python or mastering data analysis tools like SQL.
Yes, exactly. And for someone in marketing, it might be diving deep into Google Analytics or becoming a social media guru, maybe getting certified in SEO. There are so many resources out there, online courses, boot camps, workshops. You don't need to rack up more debt to stay ahead of the game.
And speaking of resources, those online learning platforms like Coursera and Udemy, they're kind of game changers.
Right. Oh, totally. They've made learning so accessible. You can learn from the best, often for way cheaper than traditional education.
It's like having a custom-made education tailored to your goals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've got experience and skills, but there's one more piece to this puzzle, networking.
Ooh, networking.
Yeah.
I know. It can be scary, but you're right, it's essential. I mean, so many jobs are filled through word of mouth, right? Not just application.
Absolutely. A good network can open doors you didn't even know were there. It's all about making real connections, showing your skills, learning from others in your field.
Okay, but how do you even start building a network? Like, where do you find these people?
Start by going to industry events, conferences, meetups, even online webinars. Engage in online communities like on LinkedIn. Reach out to people whose work you admire and ask for informational interviews.
Ah, informational interviews. Just a casual chat to learn about their career, get some advice.
Yep. You never know where those conversations might lead. You could find a mentor, discover a hidden opportunity, even land a job referral.
So we've talked experience, skills, networking. It sounds like a lot to juggle on top of, life.
It does take effort, for sure. It's about figuring out what's really important, you know? And that brings us to the most important part, changing your mindset.
Oh, okay. What kind of mindset shift are we talking about?
It's about moving from a job seeker mentality to a problem solver mentality. Instead of desperately trying to fit into some predefined box, think of yourself as someone who can solve problems for employers.
So kind of flipping the script, right? Instead of begging for a chance, you're saying, hey, look what I could do for you.
Exactly. But how do you find that confidence when you might not have years of experience?
Right.
It comes from knowing your worth, from working on your skills, getting that real world experience. It's not about being arrogant. It's about owning what you're good at and showing employers how you can add value.
I like that. It's about showing them you can solve problems, you're willing to learn, and you're passionate.
Right. It's that attitude, that proactive spirit that makes you stand out. And this ties into something else, lifelong learning. The job market is always changing. What's hot today might be gone tomorrow.
So even once you get that dream job, you can't just coast.
Exactly. You got to stay curious, keep learning. The good news is we have so much information at our fingertips, we can learn anything we want.
So how do you pick what to focus on?
Be intentional. Focus on skills that will get you where you want to go. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? What impact do I want to make?
Yeah.
What skills will help me get there? It's like having a roadmap instead of just wandering around hoping for the best.
You're taking control.
You got it. You're not letting a degree or a job title define you. You're shaping your future.
This is really empowering. We started feeling kind of down about this whole degree versus job market thing.
Right.
But now it feels like we actually have some power. We can make a difference.
That's it. The system might not be perfect, but you have the power to create your own success.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The disconnect, the solutions. Feels like we've hit most of it, right? Anything else? I feel like we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But you're right. We didn't really get into that final mindset shift you mentioned about moving from like job seeker to problem solver. What did you mean by that?
It's about changing how you see yourself. Instead of feeling like you're begging for a job, you're offering your skills to solve problems for employers. It's like flipping the script. You're not pleading. You're saying, hey, this is how I can add value.
That makes sense. I remember when I was starting out, I felt like I had to, fit into these perfect little boxes.
Right.
But now it's more about owning your expertise, like confidently showing them what you bring to the table.
Exactly. It's not being arrogant. It's knowing your worth. Employers want people who can make a difference, not just fill a chair. And when you approach your career as a problem solver, you stand out.
So it's not just about listing skills on your resume. It's about explaining how you've used those skills.
Exactly. Instead of saying, I'm good at Excel, you say, I used Excel to streamline this process and save the company X amount of money. That's what grabs their attention, seeing the impact.
This is so helpful. We started this conversation feeling kind of lost, like the system was working against us.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know, it feels like we have some control.
That's what I want people to take away from this. Your degree is a tool, not a guarantee. You create your own success. It's about taking charge, never stopping learning, and connecting what you learned in school with the real world.
So it's not about the diploma, it's about the journey.
Everyone listening, you've got the power to make things happen. Own your path, keep learning, and never give up on yourself.
And as you're figuring out your career, ask yourself this: what problem can I solve for someone starting today? That's your compass. Figure out your skills, hone them, and show the world what you can do.
Don't be afraid to think differently. Be creative. You have so much to offer. Your talents, your ideas, your ability to make things happen.
That's it for today's deep dive into the job market. You are in control. Go out there and make your mark.